from Charlotte, North Carolina, at a combined weight of over 660 pounds, Rody Rob, Adam Baum, Bionic Brian, the Marked Out Wrestling Podcast.
And it is episode 512 of the Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. And welcome to our Wednesday night reaction show to AEW and the NXT. I am Rody Rob. However, I am not your host for the night. Joining me remotely, physical, social distancing, if you will, we have Bionic Brian and our glorious, astute host, the Jew who leads the crew, Adam Baum.
Finally, an intro worthy of my status. Thatcher here with the board. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the podcast as well.
Hello, thank you. And I just want to correct Rob. I got to be the statistician.
Get that right.
This is episode 5. Say. Yeah, right. 513.
Oh, we had 5. Yeah, it's 513. All elite hours. 512.
It's like the quarantine days. We just lose track of it. Yeah. We're gonna find out who won Wednesday. We're gonna break it all down for you. Pretty good show on both sides of the coin, so it should be some fun discussion. Real quick to intro the lieutenants on the board. We got Sklenner, Steeler Stout, Berto, Double G Gaming's here, Stike Leather, Daniel Price. I saw Anaconda Vice. I'm sure more will be filing in. We're going to run down the card side by side. One quick thing I want to talk about is I didn't realize that they finally set a date if it was announced before tonight. But, Brian, I know you're excited. Double or Nothing, May 25th.
Yeah, they already announced it. The only curious thing, did they say where they're having it? I'm assuming it's at Daly's place. It's not going to be in Vegas.
Probably not.
No.
But then again, that Vegas mayor's like open everything. So
that's a very good.
Well,
point.
she got no power and she's an idiot. But that's another story.
I mean, Georgia and Florida are doing whatever the fuck they want. I think certain states are just like, yeah, we're gonna play loose and fast. And Vegas gambling, that would not be a good thing. All the wrestlers would have COVID. So we're gonna run it down. We're gonna start with the curtain jerk, fellas. This is a fun one. We got a really good promo of Darby and Cody. Their rivalry going back to Fyter Fest, where they fought to a draw. On the other side, you got a really good package for NXT with the Cruiserweight round robin tournament and kind of showcasing, and the way they did that really caught you up to speed with the first 4 matches, Group A, Group B. So very good promo packages to start with, but we're going to lump them in with the matches because they both go with the match. Cody versus Darby advances to the finals at Double or Nothing, the winner there for the TNT Championship. And then the vacant interim, whatever the hell you're calling the Cruiserweight thing, Isaiah Scott and El Fantasma something. Brian, the Isaiah Scott one, El Fantasma kind of making everybody in this tournament go one-on-one. They don't want to have a clear favorite yet. Tony Nese, of course, is in the cellar. We'll get to his match. But Cody and Darby, this match was the one that's worth talking about here.
It was. This was a hard-fought one. This was a longer match, too. This was I didn't expect that to be, I don't know.
Went over a commercial break, about 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, it did. I don't know. The ending was really the only thing that I kind of was like, I don't know about it. The whole water bottle spot with Brandy and Cody, that was, I don't know if I was getting kind of heel vibes from that a little bit. But I don't know. It was a really good match overall. I know I'm kind of all over the place right now, but really my only gripe was just that ending. I wish, I don't know. I guess it protects Darby with just kind of a quick roll-up because he did hit the coffin drop. He did have the upper hand at that point.
That's kind of why I liked it, Brian.
Yeah, but, I mean, personally, I had Darby winning the whole thing, so I think that's what the issue is. I'm selfishly...
You just want to be right?
My bracket is just completely busted right now, so... Overall, though, it was a really good match.
Happens when you pick with your heart.
I know.
Bob, you look like you want to chime in, so we were waiting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just being polite and waiting till Brian was done with his analysis of the match. Yeah, I mean, and it was an astute analysis of what we watched. I don't know what astute means, apparently. Look, this opening match with Darby and Cody, we knew it was going to be a good match. Nobody doubted that. Darby's put on nothing but fucking showstoppers since he's been on TV with AEW.
So true.
So right, but I don't know. To me, the tournament itself is, I don't want to say tainted, but the fact that we know they've been setting up the Cody Archer thing for so long, we kind of all know it's been telegraphed, right? So where I was with you, Brian, I thought Darby was a perfect mid-card choice for the new TNT belt. It kind of falls flat, and I'm agreeing with you there. It falls flat for me that they have a great match again, and Darby loses again, and it seems like Cody's probably the heir apparent here.
Well, the other thing, I mean, Cody in his promo said, I'm number one contender, but I can't challenge for the belt. So I've got to do something. But I still, the idea, just like Brian, we talked about this a lot, when the Bucks lost in the first round of the tag team tournament, I like the idea of Cody being in the tournament, not Archer, and Archer destroying him and taking his chance. First round. And then you probably would have been right. Darby would be a great guy to put this belt on.
Honestly, I would have preferred them if Darby would have won that way. If he would have rolled Cody up and kind of gotten a fluke, that I feel like would have been a little bit more. I don't know, but again, I think that's just going back because my whole bracket is busted now. So
yeah, I want to agree with what Stikelether's saying here. Let me go ahead and just announce Stikelether.
What's he saying?
Our Hall of Famer Stikelether on the YouTube live chat board. He's saying, and this is, I completely agree, and maybe this is the words I was looking for that I couldn't formulate. I personally think that Cody and Lance don't need the TNT Championship in their feud, and I agree, they don't. It's a blood feud. It's been perpetrated by Jake Roberts, which could have just had Dustin go through something bad and Cody won. It really built by itself. They could have saved the tournament for somebody else to get over and really propel them as not only a champion, but more of a mainstay spotlight position on the show for me.
Also, you should be pushing your mid card, not having the guy who can't challenge for the main belt relegated to this role because that's all he can get. I don't know. Anything else on the board, Rob, before we move on? I saw Evan showed up. What's up, buddy?
Evan saying,
hey, Evan.
Hope you guys have a safe and enjoyable show. No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Anaconda Fuckhead said he liked the ending, so of course he would say that.
Of course, DP is agreeing with us. He says, telegraphed as soon as you put Archer and Cody on the opposite sides. Like, if you really wanted to fuck with us, they should have fought each other in the opening match and had it just never happen. Get like a double DQ and have somebody vault to the finals like DiBiase did back in the day.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Vice, and I know that's shocking to hear that come out of my mouth.
Wow.
But he's saying that he thinks Archer wins the strap. I think I just said Cody heir apparent, which really doesn't make sense if you think about it. Cody would be the apparent one for me, but I think Archer would be the better choice. I think he'll get the strap.
Yeah, I mean, Archer, you don't want to have what he's been doing lately and then have it turn into a loss at the end. I mean, Brian, he has to stay undefeated. And this belt, I mean, while he's not a champion type guy, this is a good spot for him to just do what he's doing.
Well, I think why do you say he's not a championship guy?
I don't think this guy belongs in the mid-card division just like Cody doesn't.
Oh, okay. You think he should be going
this
for...
This guy should be up there fighting Jericho's and Hardy's and yes, Cody's, but not for the mid-card title.
Well, look, we're putting the label mid-card on it, and I think that's I don't think that's fair or correct to do. And I say that because they're propelling this belt like a TV title, not necessarily a mid-card title.
Wouldn't that at least make it a 2 though, Rob, and not a 1A and 1B?
No, because TV titles were meant to be defended weekly, and they were meant to put somebody over and give them some some shine.
Mid-card.
Mid-card is for those. Mid-card is for those who are already over, who've been over, and they're just not in a position where the management thinks that they should be the top champion, but they want to put a belt on them anyway.
There's a lot of guys on AEW like Darby, like MJF, like Sean Spears, that yes, they're top tier of the mid card, if you will, or not. Throw Colt Cabana in there, and whoever else. I'm sure there's plenty of others I could name, but they have to vie for something. None of those people I just named are truly believable. Guevara's in that group, truly believable right now as a top champion. They might be a contender. Yeah, Darby fought Jericho, but as an actual champion, like I don't ever see none of those guys propelling themselves to the top belt right now. And if you test the waters with a mid card, which, yeah, TV titles, semantics, this should be a belt for those guys that don't have a shot to truly win the big belt yet. It's a vaulting point, right, Brian?
Yeah, I mean,
Or
I agree with some of your points. I mean, sometimes there's also people that were at the main event status, and then, I'm not saying AEW necessarily, but that were at the main event status, and then for whatever reason they get kind of pushed back or getting mixed up into a different feud and kind of fall back into a kind of like a mid card title range. So I don't know. There's a bunch of different reasons why you could kind of stay in that section, but I don't know. I think to me the whole TNT thing is it's supposed to be a vaulting point, almost like how like the old school Intercontinental title was. Like if you won that, you got you knew that you were going to get a shot at the main title.
Rob, you used to talk about that the old way the IC champion was the number one contender.
No, I don't agree with that at all. I don't remember saying that necessarily.
With like Warrior, when they used to rank him in the back of the magazine you were talking about.
There were definitely, okay. I don't know if the IC was at number one all the time. I don't think he was. I'm trying to remember the old pro wrestling magazines, and I don't believe IC was number one contender. But the concept that the IC belt was to go ahead and put a strap on somebody and see if they could carry the big belt. I don't know if I believe that, because there was a lot of IC champs that never even sniffed the big belt. I mean, Rick Rude, Honky Tonk Man. There's more, I'm sure.
Some of them never even fought for it. You're right.
Right. Never even had a feud with somebody who was in that division. So, I mean, it wasn't until later when you got Shawn Michaels and Hunter and Rock, and when you had those that they were launching pads for their careers. I mean, those are different stories, different eras, but it's not always been that way. So we shouldn't just assume, again, that AEW is going to use the WWE model of using that belt as a propel. It could just be something they use to get somebody over on TV, and the big belts still have much more precedence. We might still see a mid-card title to be added to the TNT belt. Who knows?
Wait, what?
That's fair. Before we move on, I want both of you to vote. Is this a situation and this is AEW, with a 1A and 1B belt, or is it a 1 and 2 belt? Brian?
No, it's definitely a 1 and 2. Definitely 1 and 2.
Rob?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely 1 and 2. They are gonna make their title prestigious, which is completely opposite of what WWE does.
Right.
So before we move on, anything on the board real quick? Either one of you got it?
Daniel Price and Anaconda Vice are enjoying a good cocktail of fuck Rob. So that's going on. I don't need to read all that. Any Taker says Honky Tonk is a fucking carny. I went to a convention and watched as he put fans in a corner to make him take a pic for $25, right? Evan Wright says 1A, 1B. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to hear his logic behind that. And
right.
Okay, but we are in a consensus that Cody and Darby beat Isaiah Scott and El Fantasma.
Right. And everybody's and Daniel Price is saying real quick, only reason Honky Tonk got the IC title was because Vince wanted to troll Ricky Steamboat. I don't know if that's true. It doesn't seem like a Vince move, but okay, sure.
I forgot to do it at the beginning, but or before we moved on, but AEW's up 1-0, right, fellas?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next, again, some of this won't line quite up, but we're going to talk about it head to head. I want to talk about the MJF promo against the Adam Cole promo. I want to start with Adam Cole because it was short and sweet, but we mentioned this a lot on Monday, so I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but it appears Velveteen Dream is still number one contender and challenging Cole next week. I was kind of shocked when that got announced.
Well, I don't know if shocked is a good word. We had questions that would they pull Dream because of his situation. But we also talked about if there is precedent, which there doesn't have to be in WWE, they don't have to treat everybody equally. They're 1099 contractors. They can do what ever they want to do, and they're not worried about legal challenges at all.
Yeah, like they don't care how many times Randy violates the marijuana policy.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. So, what were we talking about there?
Velveteen.
Yeah, Velveteen. But the nude pic. There's been nude pics. You can't. Seth had one. A couple of the women had one. Nude pics are happening. You can't
I had
stop.
one.
You did, and it was very.
Mine leaked. Mine leaked. It was terrible. It was awful. I had to change my name.
Brian. Yours was turned into all sorts of memes.
No, yeah, I appreciated yours, Brian. I was like, wow, that's what a man looks like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
King Kong Dong.
I wouldn't go that far.
But not to go too deep into it, because like you said, we already talked about it on Monday night, which you can go back on YouTube or Podbean or wherever and watch the Monday night show if you haven't done so yet. But they're staying out of it, man. Him addressing it beforehand, coming right out and saying, hey, it wasn't me, may have done him good and got him some stock with the company. And maybe they're saying, look, we're not going to rush a judgment on this one. And people like
he's not a cancer like Enzo was.
Right. Enzo was
exactly right.
People hated Enzo in the locker room. They hated him. Yeah. He was cheating on girls. Liv Morgan, he cheated on her like 4 fucking times. They hated him. He had no stock. Velveteen Dream, though, I'll be honest, I don't know how much stock he has, and I think that's reflected in how long he's been in NXT, when we all think maybe he should have been pulled up by now. And I don't want to spill shit that I know, because that breaks the circle of trust. But he might. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go on.
No, I'm just saying he's not. I'm not necessarily saying that he's loved by management. I know the talent likes him, but management, they might not think very highly of him. But again, don't get ahead of it. They don't know what's going on yet. Don't cancel everything because of it.
Right.
Well, Brian, Adam Cole basically, cut a standard promo. It felt like the old days of NXT before they were on USA, when they were still on the network style promo. It wasn't his best. MJF, on the other hand, was a different story. What were you about to say before I go to the MJF part?
No, the only thing I was going to add about the whole Velveteen Dream thing is that, I mean, it's not like he's, the guy is in his mid-20s. I think he's 25. So it's
24.
24. So he hasn't been in NXT for, I know he's been there for a few years, but he's still relatively young.
Right.
He's still relatively young in the business. So, I mean, for him to still be in NXT, that's not a slight, especially how NXT is now in 2020, where even if you are, the whole quote unquote main event thing or main roster,
since the PC, only I think probably 2 or 3 on NXT. So I get what your point is, Brian. He's still a little green.
I make that point because I think he's had more highlighted takeover matches than most people have, and not be called up.
Yeah, but I wasn't saying
you could say that about everybody there right now. I wasn't Ciampa.
Well, I wasn't saying that he's green. I was saying that it's not like a slight against him that he's still in NXT. They're not moving people up willy-nilly now. They're not. That doesn't mean that they're not ready for Raw or SmackDown.
But you can't.
It's another brand.
You can't use now as a benchmark, because now is weird. Now is strange. I'm talking about in the past where he's been in highlighted matches, and usually at that point people were getting pulled up. For whatever reason, he wasn't pulled up, and that could be. Yeah. I think because
Rob, you're right. After a year of takeovers, you were pulled up to the main roster.
Right. I think personally, management doesn't feel like he's mature enough for the main roster. That's my take, my hot take. I'll leave it there.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, on the other side, MJF. I thought his promo last week, Brian, and I'll be a little critical and petty, wasn't his best work. This week, he got his sea legs back. Wow, he had a ton of stuff. His strongest nail, he's a full recovery, but now he cut his neck, so he has to wear a neck brace. And normal man would have bled out, I thought, is one of the funnier lines he said. MJF, he's got to get to the ring, obviously. But this is a good way to keep us involved in his character or hating him.
Definitely. Well, they already announced that he's going to be back next week, correct?
Right.
However, one thing I want to ask you guys, because this is the first thing that popped into my mind. When they first introduced him, did you see where he was? It said the Rat's Nest, but did you see the actual name of the town? Were you like? I want to hear you guys read it out.
I wasn't paying that close attention.
Yeah, I wasn't.
All right. 30 years. I grew up on Long Island. They have all weird. Well, they have all Indian tribe names and stuff. So the town, it's spelled. I don't have it spelled in front of me. That's how fucked up it is. But it's pronounced Massapequa. I wanted to hear you guys pronounce it because I bet you $1 million you would have fucked it up.
I'm from New York. It's Massapequa.
Right. And that was your Long Island iced tea moment from Brian.
That was. Well, I just shout out to Massapequa. I lived on Farmingdale for a little bit, so that's right next door. Shout out. That's all.
Riveting, Brian. Rob, before we go to the board.
What? Said it was riveting.
You said before we go to the board, what?
I was cutting to you. What did you think on the MJF side of things?
I mean, he's funny. I still stand by what I said a long time ago. He's funny in that now funny, but he's also kind of annoying in that, a couple times at my house, I'm like, okay, dude, you it's kind of like you, Adam. Kind of like you. And you're my best friend. I love you, man. But when I first met Adam, I was like, this dude is fucking hilarious. And now I do more eye rolls than ever. And I'm sure vice versa. I'm sure it goes the same way. So
it's just because you talk to me. That's why.
That's okay.
That's true.
Excuse me.
The quantity increased, Rob. The quality decreased with that quantity. Yes.
Don't want to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're fucked up.
All right. So, Adam Cole, is AEW taking a 2-0 lead? Brian?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm a big fan of fucking anytime MJF is going to give a promo, I'm a fan.
Rob, your vote.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Brian there. It's for AEW. Yeah.
The Massapequa Rat's Nest.
Quick hits on the board. Evan, I don't think Triple H wants to let him go. Maybe Triple H sees Dream one way and Vince sees him another. And Triple H is hoping he doesn't get caught up. I mean, Dream did wear the pants that says, "Call me up, Vince." Definitely been flamboyant. Jay on the board, XL10 says, "Cool story, Brian. I like the part when you stop making noise come out of your face."
When has Hunter wanting to keep somebody ever been a factor, though? Never.
Maybe now because they have to fill their roster.
But I'm not talking about
the future. The future is now, Rob.
Again, I'm not talking about now, but okay.
No.
I digress.
And Iron Med says that MJF is maybe the next Miz, but Indie Taker says Miz sucks compared to MJF. Yeah, they're not the same.
No.
On a smug level, they're comparable, but that's about the end of it. So AEW's up 2-0.
Hey-o.
On to the next part. This is going to be, we don't have to talk too much. We probably just vote. Wardlow versus Musa. Oh, actually, I do want to talk about the other side. And then Candice and Casey Catanzaro. Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Killer face.
Candice LeRae, full-blown heel, brother. Come on.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he's got full makeover, everything.
Hair. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were going to get it right.
Well, she loves Disney. I have a fucking Mickey Mouse mug right here. Like, I don't want to hate her, but she's a heel. She is. I'm sorry.
Rob, comment to you when we were watching, and I'll just make it again for the board's sake. But I felt like her new look, I could get her now. I couldn't before because,
she's too pretty.
Yeah, exactly. Now, well, no, she's still very hot and pretty. But now she looks like she would slum it with a guy like me, where before she didn't.
Hey, you know what I just thought about? Real quick, what I just thought about? Poor Hitman can't listen to our shows because all the dining rooms at McDonald's are closed and he can't get his internet.
Oh,
hey, look,
Rob recycling an old joke.
Hey, no, it was a new twist, sir, new twist. Look, Candace and Johnny, starting out last week with the whole, and I like the fact that it's. Because last week they used all the effects, the Donnie Darko effects, and this week they're pushing the poison angle that these two are poison, and I like that. I like that that theme for them. What?
Like Bobby Brown poison, or like?
Yes, yeah, big button to smile all day.
Okay,
all day. But her in-ring style, and this is how you know when somebody's a good professional wrestler. When they've just got what it takes to excel in the business. is somebody who can change their entire style based off of their character's direction. And her ring presence tonight was vicious, and it was dirty, and it was mean, and not just in her facial expressions, but in the moveset itself. So I like this version of Candice, and I hope this version of Candice gets some push.
Everything you just said is my segue over to the other side. I felt Wardlow was the same way. Musa was just out there to be enhancement talent or jobber, like most of us say. But if I'm going to vote real quick, I mean, Candice, just because of the new look, the new attitude, I like that finisher too. Just put your foot on the back and just lob it down. What's up, Kiki?
He says, "Hey,
hey, Kiki."
Everybody say hi to Kier.
Brian, what's your vote? Wardlow, Casey, and Candice.
You know what? This might shock you. I'm gonna go with Wardlow. I love the fucking F10.
Wow.
Man,
but
I don't
what
care.
Was the match?
I don't care. It was a squash match. I don't care. It was an enhancement match.
So was Candice's match, but I don't know, because it was a new character thing. So
yeah, I'm not sold on Casey. What's her name? Casey Catanzaro?
Yeah, who cares about that?
Nah.
Candice was what it was about.
Fair
Rob,
enough.
what's your vote? Because it seems like we're split here. I've got NXT. Brian's got AEW.
Oh no, we're gonna give this to NXT on this round. I mean, we had the debut of the new and I'm disappointed in you. I'm surprised in you right now because you have always shown yourself to be a reliable Candice LeRae mark.
The tape.
Yeah, and you are
very true.
You are shitting all over her, and especially her debut of her new character. I mean, I'm very surprised in you, and doing it for a jobber match too. You should be ashamed of yourself.
No, this just goes to show you my devotion for all elite wrestling.
Your blind loyalty.
Exactly.
Yeah, good job.
All
Trump.
right,
Trump.
Ford, this topic wasn't worth getting you involved, so we're moving on. Because this one is a fun one on both sides. I thought we have on one side the Newly Bro Show, and on the other side we have the Bubbly Bunch, which tonight's theme was the Manitoba Melee.
I don't think this is fair.
You don't think this is fair?
I don't think this is fair as far as our voting goes for who won Wednesday, because you're putting these two next to each other, which they weren't. But I understand why you're doing it. I mean, don't get defensive.
They almost lined up on TV, Rob.
No, they
Just
didn't.
FYI.
No, they didn't. We watched the Newly Bro Show, and then after the fact, we watched and we were live. We watched the Bubbly Bunch. So all I'm saying is we can talk about it the way you want to talk about it. You're the host, but to be fair, to compare the two with each other, I think shit's on NXT. Go ahead.
These were the two fun segments of the night by each show, so that's also where the comparison comes.
I'm just saying it's not fair for the vote. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because this could be a vote for NXT compared to what actually went side by side. But I'm with you. Go ahead. My bad.
Newly Bro Show was obviously a gimmick of the Newlywed Game. Brian, you didn't see this, but I give the answer and then I hold up the thing and we see if it matches. Oddly enough, Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle matched, even though the answers were no idea, The Price is Right, and a threesome on a washer. Somehow those all lined up in the answer. It was very clever. And then Imperium attacks. I don't want to discount it. Byron tried to sell it. There was a lot of graphics. There was a lot of hype. The Newly Bro Show was okay. It was fun. It probably would have played better with Pete Dunne, but it was fine. The Bubbly Bunch, like Brian.
Yeah, threesome on a washer.
Yeah. Threesome on a washer.
You got to watch it, bro.
That's not PG.
Check the tape. So the Bubbly Bunch, while I 100% agree with you, Rob, is just not comparable. It's just not. The Manitoba Melee, which turned into what a lot of people are doing where, they're passing it by doing the edits and face things. We saw the Librarian get involved, Jungle Boy, Sonny Kiss, Luther. I fucking lost
Lou
track.
Ferrigno.
I think Lou Ferrigno was there. Jay and Silent Bob. Fluffy was there. What's that? Julio Iglesias? No, not Julio.
Not Julio. No, that's Enrique. Not Enrique Iglesias.
Gabriel Iglesias.
Yes. Corey Taylor was there from Slipknot. I saw him. Virgil.
I saw Wee Man, I think, Virgil. And then we end with Vicky Guerrero.
I don't think that was Wee Man. I think you're just being a dick.
Okay, Okay, if I'm a dick,
Don't throw it on me.
turn to Rob
Don't
and
know.
I asked, "Is that Wee Man?"
Don't
And
throw it on
Rob
me.
said yes.
I wasn't
Oh,
paying.
what? You guys watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for the invite again.
You won't go outside, Brian.
No, you're right. But I still want the fucking invite.
Social
I still want the
distancing.
fucking.
We had 2 screens.
We had 2 screens and we were sitting about 8 feet apart, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were well over 6 feet. We were
and
close.
Adam's not allowed to come in the house.
Yeah. I peed in a bush.
He's in the bushes.
Heyo.
Yeah.
Those are good sound bites to have. Thank you.
So look, looking at both these segments, look, I disagree with you. First off, about kind of shitting on Brian. I know you mildly shit on Byron Saxton. I thought Byron Saxton did a fucking great job. I give him all the props in the world.
He did.
He did great. I think that these 2 segments show that AEW, which has already been doing really well in this situation, and NXT, who's been getting better in this situation, but it shows that they're learning how to do better TV. They're learning how to be more creative with the shit fucking sandwich that they've been given. And I like the soundtrack, the laugh track they had for the Newly Bro game. I will agree with somebody on the board. I forgot who said it, but I'm still not sold on Thatcher in this situation. I see what they're trying to do, but he's
got his less personality than Pete Dunne.
Yeah, I get they were trying to play that up, but sometimes it's overkill.
Well, here's what I'll say. He's kind of like a no BS, almost like a Oni Lorcan kind of deal. Like he's he's insane in the ring, but
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how he does in a WWE bubble.
And Brian, who have I never been
Price
big on?
The board real quick is saying that Duff from GNR was there, and Jericho's dad was one of the other people.
Oh, the guy in the hockey jersey was Jericho's dad. Yeah, that's right. Right.
Okay.
What are you saying, Rob?
I was saying who have I not always not been big on? Who you just Oni Lorcan.
Donald Trump.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Oni Lorcan. So maybe that's
Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Oni Lorcan.
Yeah.
I love Oni. I love him.
Good in the ring, just as dull as they get. I mean, as dull as dull can be. Fucking dull.
Go follow his Twitter.
I agree with Rob 100%. Byron Saxton was very good on the Newly Bro show. My vote's got to be for the Bubbly Bunch.
Again, I don't think this is a fair vote. I'm giving my point to the Bubbly Bunch too. It was fucking just awesome and funny, and Manitoba Melee was great. And I love that, that's been a thing, showing the no rush challenges and all the different things people been doing with their phones during social distancing. So it's really creative and it was fun. Not fucking fair to vote these 2 against each other, because I think this would be a point for NXT and a point for AEW. Separated, if I have to go together, and you're the fucking host that knows the most, so I'm going to go.
You got to go together.
I'm going to go NXT. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to AEW. I'm going AEW. Bubbly
Brian,
Bunch.
it's already 2-zip, but you can vote.
This is the hammer. I'm going for AEW.
Okay. Yeah. It's pretty solid. The board was talking about In a Gun of Ice. Bubbly Bunch was gold. Thatcher's fantastic ring-wise. Evans says that as soon as he signed with WWE, they'd make him a sports entertainer, and it wouldn't work. He just doesn't have the charisma. Is what Evans said.
You know what they did tonight on the Bro Show that I appreciated and noticed is that a couple times they used the words professional wrestling, and Thatcher referred to himself as a professional wrestler, which I appreciate that. I do. So
I appreciated all the funny pod innuendo that Riddle had.
Yeah.
AEW's up 3-1. Next one is, it was fun on one side. I kind of checked out on the other side. We have Sabian and Havoc. Of course, they're accompanied by Penelope Ford, Giggity. And then we have the Best Friends accompanied by OC, who at this point is part of the Best Friends. You can just say Best Friends. And Orange Cassidy, is included. On the other side, we have a championship match. And Rob, I know a lot of times you talk about consequence, is what matters. This is a meaningless tag match on one side. And we have Charlotte versus Mia in a women's NXT championship match. Is the consequence going to make it win?
Man, leave it to Charlotte. Leave it to Charlotte to make me feel sorry for Mia Yim. Charlotte she did this with Bianca. She does this with.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not. But she's a fucking. She does not work at all to try to make her opponent look good. She is all about herself. She's lazy in the fucking ring. I don't see the hype over Charlotte Flair besides her big titties and her daddy's name. I wouldn't want to
Wow.
work with her. I wouldn't want to work with her.
She feels a little
Wow.
bit like Randy, like Randy after whatever 12 years started like kind of phoning in his matches and wasn't what he used to be. But he built himself at the time over 12 years,
Yeah.
at least a decade, to be worthy of what he is. Charlotte in 4 years got way more than anyone is given.
Yeah.
Is almost to her daddy's 16 already in a 5-year career. And Rob is right. I know he's a homer when it comes to Bianca, but this is now the third match I've seen, and I'm not looking forward to her next week with Io because she phones it in. She doesn't do anything.
And what a bad situation to put her as the NXT Women's Champion, where women are developing their characters, their in-ring style, and trying to make it to the big leagues in WWE. They put her there, somebody who is not good at highlighting other wrestlers when she's in the ring with them. She's just not. She does not know how to.
It's been too long since she held the title.
Yeah, but you can't consider this to be like one of another move into the direction of making NXT the quote unquote third brand. Like if they start pulling people, I mean, if this isn't the first time we've seen like the Fashion Police go down, we've seen this isn't Finn Balor. It's not the first time. Kevin Owens. It happens, but now she's
KO
winning
came for one match. That was an exception.
I understand.
Fine,
I understand they're moving from that dynamic of being developmental solely, that they are making themselves the third brand with developmental on the heels of it. But for me, NXT is still, even with that mainstay of talent that's gonna be there, NXT is still developing new talent to see where they go. And bet your fucking bottom dollar, if somebody on NXT is blowing it out of the park, I mean, they're fucking amazing in all kinds of ways, they're not staying on NXT. Vince is pulling them up to the big shows. So they can be a third brand all they want to. They're always going to be the developmental in the eyes of Vince, saying, no, I want them on my show.
When you say that, Rob, though, the top 4 guys right now have been killing it for a while, and I don't see them getting called up. I don't see Vince going, hey, Ciampa, I need you here. Hey, Cole, I need you here. Hey, Velveteen, I need you here. Like, I just don't see it.
No,
I don't see that Vince even gives a shit about them.
Right.
He's like, Hunter, keep your playthings. No, I'll find the others that I want.
I don't disagree with that. And I don't, like I said before, they have mainstays now. And you're right. Adam Cole and all them, they are big time guys. But in the eyes of Vince McMahon, if he thought they were superstars, he would bring them to Raw.
Fair enough.
And when he did, he brought Ciampa and Gargano up as the tag champs, and Ciampa got injured and Gargano went back down.
Right.
Pretty much instantly. But yeah, he brought them in as a tag team. Orange Cassidy, freshly squeezed, gets out of the way in a couple fun spots that make it so that Penelope ends up spearing Kip, and she hit him the other time. There was a lot of, I don't think this was a hardcore match, Brian, but it's a tag team match. Weapons, chairs everywhere, some crazy spots. Did you enjoy this as much as I did?
Yeah, this was a really, really good match. A lot more than I expected for, considering, like you said, an empty arena match. I know there were still the wrestlers around kind of making noise and being a little bit of ambiance and getting involved in some capacities. But yeah, this was awesome. I'm surprised though that there was no I'm not surprised that there wasn't any blood. But I mean, I understand why, because there was later on. But still, I mean, those types of matches with Jimmy Havoc, you usually get something like that. But regardless of that, I still thought this was a really, really good match for considering it was a hardcore match.
So if you had to vote, I know you didn't see NXT, but I mean, Mia Yim tapped at the end. It was supposed to be this big dream match because Mia was the first person to ever wrestle Charlotte. So it was supposed to be blah, blah, blah. But it fell flat, even with Io coming out at the end saying we're going to fight next week. Who's your vote?
No, definitely AEW for me.
Yeah. Best friends, Kip Sabian, Havoc. I enjoyed that match. It was a lot of fun. Rob, what's your vote?
No contest. AEW.
Yeah. AEW's up 4-1. Going to really vote here. Just want to mention Britt promo here. We don't really have anything to offset on the other side.
I thought wait, whoa. We shit on Britt Baker on a daily or weekly basis. And I think this is an opportunity for us to give a little bit of credit.
Rob, I was saying there's nothing on the NXT side. This isn't a vote.
No, I understand.
We're going to talk about Britt here for a second.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't segueing past it. Sorry to give you that impression.
No, okay,
I was just saying
bad.
we're not going to vote. We're just talking about this.
Okay, well.
Is Rebel a wrestler, Brian, was my question. I know I've never seen her before, but she's not just a makeup artist.
No, she's a wrestler.
No. She used to be a wrestler. I believe she still does some events, but what she does for AEW is she does the hair and makeup for a lot of the wrestlers.
I thought that was just a kayfabe thing. I didn't realize that was real.
Yeah, no, she actually does that, but she's also a trained wrestler, and I believe she was in Impact for a little bit. I want to say Global Force. She did those.
So she might take a bump throughout this.
She can wrestle. She can wrestle.
Rob, you were chomping at the bit to compliment this one. Why don't you tell me why you loved it? Because this definitely, I agree with you, was a positive moment for Britt.
Well, let's not go too far and call it love. We'll call it lust.
Positive.
Yeah, it's a positive. I just thought it was creative. I mean, they've been playing the dentist role, which she is, and why not play it? But to put her in a scene in the clinic or whatever, I don't know what dentists call their places, the dentistry.
Office, the dentist office.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I just thought it plays to this personality they're working with her in the easel with the role model thing, and then the Tony Schiavone shit, dude. How could you not laugh at that? I was laughing when they photoshopped his belly down. I had a laugh out loud moment. It was great. So I don't have anything more to say than I appreciate that. I enjoyed a Britt Baker spot.
On the board, I want to give a shout out real quick to Stike Leather. I didn't realize it because I was so invested, and that's where the volume was in the Britt Baker promo. But on the other side, on the NXT side, that's where the Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux promo was. I was honestly paying no attention. Britt Baker, the fact that it was like she was acting like they were shooting a piece, but this was the behind the scenes extra look between takes. And how smug she was, especially with Schiavone, was great. Brian, I know you're a big Killer Cross fan, but didn't see that. Did you have any more positivity about Britt?
The one thing I will say, out of anybody I don't want to say that anyone has benefited necessarily from this whole, the whole pandemic shit, but I am getting more and more invested into Britt Baker, and especially her character. I know she hasn't wrestled too many matches lately, but I mean, even the ones that she has, I mean, she had the bloody mouth, and she had the thing with the shoe. She has a lot of these moments that keep happening. I think she's really doing well for herself, considering everything that's going on.
Rob, Board wants to get up your butt here. Berto says, "Oh, what is that, Rob? Character development? I said from the beginning promo at the cruise. Sure, it was bad, but you got to let it develop to hopefully get to a point where the star gets better." I'm going to defend Rob for a second here. I don't care where it's developed to. The cruise was fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
And yes, maybe she has gotten a lot better, and you can see that she was here at the cruise, and now she's gotten herself to here. But this is a fully taped thing. The cruise was in front of everybody live.
Yeah,
you're talking apples to oranges in that sense.
I take exception with the word developed. I mean, she hasn't developed. Like the AEW has developed her character, and they're doing segments that work for her character, and they're putting a good funny twist on it. But that's not her developing. She's not getting better in the ring. And I mean, her promos live are not getting better. She's just, that segment was funny. I mean, so sure. I mean, if you want to say that you disagree with me, fine, but it's not development.
Evan says, Britt telling people if they don't have good teeth, they shouldn't smile, gave me a good laugh. Yeah. I like that one. I can't really represent the Killer Cross. I'm sorry. I failed you, Marked Out Nation.
Oh,
so
man.
We're going to move on. These two are pretty simple. I only got one note on them. Spears basically squashed Baron Black on the AEW side, and Dexter Lumis squashed Shane Thorne. The only thing that I thought about on here is, Brian, you've seen Dexter Lumis, right?
A little bit from his Impact
Do you
days.
think he looks more like a pedophile or a porn star?
Porn star to me. He looks more like a murdery kind of. Almost, I mean, it's a fucking kind of a ripoff of Dexter, like the serial killer series guy.
Yeah, he wears the
obviously
gloves and the pants,
right?
like him.
And the whole fucking Old Navy long sleeve.
But the mustache is definitely a pedophile porn star mustache.
Yeah, a little bit, but I am a big fan of his. He's definitely more of a character, clearly, for, you know, you can see what they're doing with him in NXT. But I just hope that they continue using him properly. That's my only kind of fear with that.
My vote of the two squash matches here, I'm going to give it to the NXT side. Rob, do you have a vote? Lorcan's, sorry, not Lorcan. Loomis's squash or Spears squash?
I'll go NXT, just because they got screwed on the whole bro show thing. So
okay,
yeah, I'm going NXT. Same reasoning, NXT.
Okay, so we got 4-2, and we got 2 to go. This next one is a great comparison, a story of two underdogs. We got Brody Lee versus Marco Stunt, and we have Drake Maverick, who's already been released and is 0-1 in the tournament, going against Brian's boy, Elias, that got left too long in the dryer, Tony Nese.
Oh, come on, don't say that. No, he's an NYWC standout.
Master forehead, Tony Nese.
Yes. So Tony Nese is now the only 0-2 guy in the tournament because Drake picks up the win, but Marco can't get the win. Where do you want to start? One David beat Goliath, the other did not.
NXT. Let's go with NXT. Why not?
Are you shocked, Rob? Where do you think this is going? Is Drake just giving himself some hope, or has he got a chance here?
I keep wanting to go back to think that they're doing this as a work, and if they are kind of fucked up, but good for Drake for having a job. But maybe I think he's gonna make it to the finals and he's gonna lose and he's gonna go away crying.
Well, Drake's all over Twitter on EC3 page, so it'd be funny that the one guy's released, the other guy that's supposed to be released, and the way they're talking on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, they've been working out together and shit, like posting stuff all over Twitter. That's right.
Yeah. I just thought that was worth mentioning.
That's like the bully and his toady in a Christmas Story. It's so cute.
So who wins here? I think. Go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna say, who wins here? I'm gonna give it to NXT because you're continuing the relevance of the Drake Maverick story. And for me personally, I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see a Brody Lee segment, one of the Vince McMahon segment. You got me salivating every week with these Vince McMahon parodies. I love them. I want to see more of them. I'd
rather see that than him throw Marco around.
Right. I just stick with that. You know, give me a couple minute segment of him doing some Vinceism, and I'm happy. I'm a happy fucking camper. So NXT.
Brian.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I'm going with NXT. I don't want to say I was disappointed with the whole Brody Lee thing, but because it wasn't a bad match, it served its purpose.
Nothing wrong with it.
Right, but I do wish that they would have done something a little bit more with his character, like we've been seeing for the past few weeks. But maybe they'll probably get back to it next week, or who knows? Maybe they're done knocking the whole Vince thing, and they're going to move on from it.
No, I don't think they.
No, they definitely.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. And I tell you what I wanted to see more of. Tonight, Jericho said, "You know why they call him Mr. Brody Lee? Because he tells them to." And I think that was, Jericho acknowledging a Vinceism. And I would like to see Jericho, if he's gonna be in the ring, do more little off the cuff Vinceisms while Brody's wrestling. Yes. That would be entertaining to me as well, because these are guys.
And Jericho's taking his own shots too.
Right, and these are guys that this is breaking the fourth wall. This is we've all heard shit from Pritchard and other sources of how Vince is, and no matter where I hear it from, it's always entertaining to hear how he is because it's so fucking awkward, and just unusual and almost kind of like what a fucking asshole. That I enjoy hearing these Vinceisms. So if he can give me more, I'm in too.
I think just a final note, I think part of this is Brody Lee last week was the first time he overlapped. He did a promo and he did a match. And I felt maybe that's why they just did a match this week, just to kind of spread it out a little bit. We got a 4-3 AEW advantage going into the main event. Let me check real quick in the board. I'm so far behind. I hope you said anything great. I apologize. I'm not paying attention. Okay, normally I'm, because I don't have big screens.
They're all kind of shitting on Drake. So it's
pretty much.
Okay, I mean, made him relevant for 5 minutes.
And then Evan he makes a good point. He says, releasing the guy during a pandemic, then using him in this fashion just doesn't sit well with me.
It doesn't. And Rob said it right at the beginning. He said it's kind of shitty that they're doing this. But at the same time, it's kind of like, are they doing this? Are they giving this guy a reprieve? Or is this a work from the get-go?
Yeah, and let's be fair for a minute. Put yourself in Drake Maverick's shoes. If they're like, if all these people got cut and got let go, and they're like, hey, man, we're letting you go. Like, fuck. But we want you to stick it out for this tournament. We're going to give you a storyline. You're going to get paid. I'm sure he was like, it sucks, but okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that there's any chance? And this is my theory. If I had to put money on a bet, I think he was cut. I think that video stirred them up and somebody went, hey, we got this guy still in the tournament. Why not play this angle for a minute? And let's take advantage of try to spin the releases that were bad into a Daniel LaRusso type story where he somehow gets through. Maybe this is that kind of, it fell into their laps, and that's what they decided to do.
It wouldn't be the first time that they have their art play off of real life.
Yeah, I mean, they released Matt Hardy and let him come back because the fans wanted to see that feud with Edge.
Right.
With the whole Lita breakdown. Anyway, 4-3.
Is that a Karate Kid reference?
He was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sweep the leg at him.
We got Marked Out Moment and Pettytown coming up, but our main events.
Or mercy.
Here you go, boys. Keith Lee, Damian Priest, North American title. And Lance and Dustin. Winner fights Cody. Will we have brother versus brother? Will we finally get Lance versus Cody? Obviously, we get Lance versus Cody. Obviously, Keith Lee defended. But these are two quality matches. Damian and Keith, we've kind of seen a combo of that before in triple threats or varieties. We haven't seen Lance and Dustin. The big twist here, I guess, if you will, at the end is that the announcers were playing up is that Cody had a chance to throw in the towel so that Lance wouldn't kill Dustin.
I hated that.
Did you like that angle, Brian? Was it needed?
Not really. Although, I don't want to say that just because, again, that's something I feel like they're just planting the seed. So I'm not going to shit on something when I don't even know the rest of the story. And to be honest, if they're going to give us another Dustin versus Cody, I'm all on board because I don't know if you guys know, Cody just filed for the trademark for the Rhodes last name. So if they're building some tension,
like they said his name several times tonight, Brian. They said Cody Rhodes when he won. I swear to God, they said Cody Rhodes when he won.
Potentially, maybe
I don't know if it was a slip or if they're purposely doing it because he filed.
I don't know, but I was hoping that maybe they would work into some sort of storyline where he gets the name back in some capacity, and maybe you can build an angle around that with him and Dustin again.
He steals it from Dustin. Dustin has to be now Dustin.
Exactly.
Cody
no, just then he retires. No, then he retires.
That would be great. No, before he retires, have a feud for the name. Only the winner can use it. That would be fucking fabulous.
Well, Booker T lost the T in his name. WCW at one point, so anything can happen.
Stupid and fabulous. They could make it fun.
Right.
Rob, you look like you wanted to say something.
I probably did. I think I forgot what it was. The towel thing. So look, throwing in the towel. I don't agree that we should go use WWE as a benchmark, but they have done some things right. And one thing they've done right through the years is throwing the towel in should be a once every 5-year event. And NXT has now done it twice within a year. Or at least played that angle in some way. They need to put the fucking towel back in the closet and save it there until it's another relevant moment. There was no need for it tonight. It didn't advance anything. They could have just been out there begging for him to stop or to quit. And honestly, I don't even think we needed them out there at all. At all.
No.
Because of COVID?
No.
Well,
Yeah,
no.
it was one of those situations that I always bitch about too, Rob, where like the Bucks are ringside for no reason because it's the Elite.
Oh God!
Here's the Nightmare Collective ringside for no. If you are just a faction that stands ringside, you're not a faction. They haven't had a match as the Nightmare Collective. And yeah, Brian, while Dustin, whatever, there was some spots where you thought Archer was going to win, and I think he's going to be the winner of the tournament. But we'll find that out at Double or Nothing. Keith Lee won. It was a good, solid match, but up until the ending, AEW was winning. We were watching these side by side, and my attention was mostly on Archer and Dustin.
And the pins were almost simultaneous, by the way.
Yeah, and you talk about consequence. We've got a potential first-time champion final, Double or Nothing pay-per-view shot, and then you've got the North American title, which is great. I'm not shitting on the belt itself, but you have two guys who we've seen wrestle before fighting for it again. And so this feud hasn't been built where the Dustin Lance, we've seen this coming for weeks in the bracket. So I would have to give Lance and Dustin the nod here. Even though it wasn't a championship match, it had the equivalent of the level of it because it's going for a championship match.
Right. Real quick, Stike on the board. Wasn't it if Dustin lost, he was done wrestling? So in respect for Dustin's start of your career, I give it to AEW. No, that was last week. I don't think this week counted toward. Yeah, it was last week. So this. No,
he was just firing off about, if I lose to Kip Sabian, I should retire.
Exactly.
Right. Like, there's no way I should lose to this guy. Right. I give the vote to. I agree. I give it to AEW, just because it pushes this. It pushes the tournament more. Again, I don't think he needs to be in the tournament. We've already discussed that. But I thought the match was. I just thought it was better. I thought it was better for a lot of reasons. I like Keith Lee. I'm not big on Damian Priest. But what their match was
Punishment Martinez.
Right. Their match was exactly what it was. A known match. I knew exactly what I was going to get when I saw it. And Dustin and Archer was an unknown, and so that's why.
And we got some color, Brian, in that one.
Yeah, I got to say, I know I brought it up earlier about being surprised about there wasn't blood with the Jimmy Havoc match, but that doesn't mean that I'm happy about it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, there's all this unknown shit going on, and again, this just goes back to me just wanting to be in like a plastic bubble if I could be. But I mean, he's bleeding everywhere.
Touch. The blood is not.
No, so now they have to wipe everything down. They have to fucking clean everything. They have to worry about.
They should be wiping everything down already. Well, you're going
right.
off on a tangent.
They should be, but
especially if you're taped. If you are taped right now, they should be fucking wiping it down after each match. And you're truly going to try and do something.
Yeah, and just FYI, I mean, the big fear for when blood comes out is AIDS, and the treatments for AIDS are spectacular compared to what they once were. So I'm not saying I'm not saying you want.
Johnson's been alive 30 years with treatment. I mean, they've had some advances.
We saw a commercial tonight about one that you can take to not get it. I mean, what the fuck? So, whatever. I don't know where I'm going. Yeah. I'm done.
So anyway, AEW is the winner 5-3. We're gonna go to the awards. Anything else, Rob, before I move to the awards on the board? Get your awards ready. Marked Out moment in Pettytown.
No, I think overall, both shows are showing that they're getting their footing when it comes to doing this. And I would honestly like to see when all this COVID mess has kind of fallen to the background and we get back to life as normal or as close as we can to it, and start having live shows again for these promotions. I'd like to see them take some of what they've done during this period and incorporate that in their future programming. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of it. I honestly, if I was in a live show, at an AEW live show, and they stopped and put the Bubbly Bunch on for 5 minutes on the big screen, and me and 2,000 other marks are fucking, because that's all they get, 2,000. Me and 2,000 other marks are all laughing together at the Bubbly Bunch. I'm completely fucking okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Ryan, how many are at Full Sail?
Right now or usually?
Usually.
Usually
Rob
about
saying 2,000 for
400.
Dynamite. How many does Full Sail get?
Usually Full Sail, I think their
400.
capacity at 7. It depends if there's a college campus tour going on. If there is, then they have to take that into account because you can't have that many people in the same room. So it's a very
are you
small
counting
and quaint.
I mean, you got to count. They have a fire occupancy. So I think that's part of why.
Exactly.
Lame.
Rob hates us. Real quick, before we get to the awards, plugs for next week. We have the Sex Gods. That's right. The Sex Gods are taking on Omega and Hardy. And Mox had a promo tonight. He says, call Grandma. And his wife's hot. He'll be live next week. And they'll further the stories for Double or Nothing, start to build their card, which is May 25th. NXT is trying to come correct with their card for next week. Charlotte and Io title match, Adam Cole Velveteen Dream title match, and Gargano versus Dijakovic. We saw a Dijakovic promo as well. I didn't really talk about. Award time. I'm going to kick it off with the marked outs. For me, AEW, I kind of marked out. I know it might be a long time before they do anything with it, but when Cody collided with Brandy, after Darby, made the dodge, I thought that was a good spot. It told a lot. And then the Cinderella, I said it like Daniel LaRusso, Drake winning was my marked out moment for NXT. Rob, what's yours?
Marked out moment for AEW was the Bubbly Bunch. Just only because when they started doing the melee there, I figured it was going to be just the members of the bunch, which would have been just fine. But when you started to throw it around to all these, random people, and then Jay and Silent Bob and Lou Ferrigno, fucking Ferrigno, which I wish they would have made the screen go green.
What he shocked somebody, he tased him.
You're right,
taser, yeah.
So for me, Bubbly Bunch I marked out the whole time. NXT.
I even liked Vicky Guerrero at the end.
Yeah, no, it was fucking great, and the way that Jericho responded to her was fucking absolutely wonderful. I think he did that on WWE too, which makes it even better when it comes to her.
Yeah, it was a throwback.
The NXT marked out moment would be Candice LeRae's finisher. What a vicious fucking finisher! Bravo.
Brian, what would you call that move?
I don't know. I didn't watch it tonight. I don't know if she switched it up.
Oh, okay. So she basically takes the girl that's lying down, grabs her by the wrist, pulls her back, puts her foot in her back, and then just pushes their face to the ground.
Oh, it's kind of like a curb stomp, but not really. Right?
Not really. Her foot's in the back.
Right. That's vicious.
Like pulling her arms back and then
right.
Foot on the between the blades
on the back of her head.
Between the blades and then yeah.
Like on the
yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
What's your awards, Brian?
Awards?
And then Rob, get the board ready.
Marked out for AEW. For AEW, I gotta say, I was a big fan of seeing Massapequa show up. I know I mentioned it before, but a little Long Island shout out for me. I fucking got excited. You don't see that too often. You don't see these random Long Island towns on national television. Sorry, I'm in Charlotte. Yeah, I'm in Charlotte. I miss Long Island. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I have no idea what's going on.
That's true. And NXT, I don't have one, man. I don't fucking have one. I didn't watch, bro. I'm AEW, man.
All right, so that is. I'm going to segue right to you. So is your NXT Petty Town just that you didn't watch it and that's what you're petty about?
No, my NXT Petty Town is. You said that Oni Lorcan he lost tonight?
He wasn't even there.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. No, he was in the main event, Brian, and he lost in the main event.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well.
Yeah. Loser leaves town match. He lost. Sorry.
Yeah, him and
what's
Adam
your
Rose.
Petty Town for AEW?
Petty Town for AEW that there was no Brody Lee promo. Also, this is a secondary. This is a secondary one, that Moxley promo. They pumped it up last week, and I don't know. It wasn't really anything too crazy.
It wasn't any different. Rob, what's the marked out on the board? I forgot to go to them.
Evan Wright marked out AEW Lance Archer moonsault. That was pretty fucking cool.
Yep.
Then the Taker walking into moonsault. Marked out for NXT for Evan Wright is the Super Dragon Stomp from Candice. Love me some PWG throwbacks.
Oh yeah.
Christopher Steichleather marked out NXT Candice LeRae new heel persona for AEW.
Yes.
It was
giggity.
Yes, the Bubbly Bunch. And Jason Sklenar marked out moment that Mox promo. They didn't teach that in the wrestling room at Oklahoma, did they, bitch? That was funny. Yeah. That's it.
Finally, my petty town, and then we'll go to Rob and the board for the end. So I guess not finally. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. My petty town, I like Britt Baker, her promo tonight. But can I just say that my petty town, I think she thinks she's a female Jericho. I think that's what she's going for right now.
Whoa.
And I know it's petty to say that, but that's just the way I feel.
I mean,
and on
I see
the NXT side, I feel like title reigns are best when you have good storylines, competitors, contenders. And right now, Keith Lee is run through the entire mid-card roster, if you will.
They need some new blood.
I don't know where he goes from here. Now that he's beaten Priest, Dijakovac, Cameron Grimes, everybody except for the guys above him. Those are the only ones he hasn't beaten. So I don't know where they're going with this. So that's my two petty towns.
Please,
Rob, you
listen
and the board.
to my voice. Take it from the wise old Jew.
My petty towns for AEW was lots of jobbers. Sorry, yobbers. Lots of yobbers tonight. And my.
What do you think Tony Nese and Shane Thorne are?
I'm not arguing. I can't argue that. And for NXT, Charlotte Flair being the champion, the match with my Mia Yim, it makes no sense to me. I'm not enjoying it. I wish it wasn't happening. If most, I know all of us wrestling fans disagree on little things. Like I'm on a thread on Facebook fighting with somebody over the relevance of NWO. I know we all have disagreements, and they show on this fucking show all the time. But I think we can all agree on most things, and I would say that nobody's enjoying Charlotte on NXT. I don't know anybody other than some 10-year-old.
Your experiment failed.
Yeah, other than some 7 to 10-year-old girl who idolizes Charlotte for some reason. Nobody's enjoying this run, so that's my petty time there. On the board, Evan Wright.
And by the way, Rob, that Mia would never have been winning here, but Charlotte could have made her look good.
Could have made it at least look decent. Yeah, somewhat.
I think about when Jeff Hardy fought Taker for the undisputed title. There was no way Jeff Hardy was going to win, but Taker made him look great.
The undisputed Tiger Blood. Tiger King. Petty town for Evan Wright. Why is Damian Priest getting a title match after losing in a triple threat without much build? It's a fair point. And it's because they got fucking nobody right now. I don't think you're right, Adam. They did not rebuild that North American division at all. Let's see here. AEW Petty Town, no staple gun for Jimmy Havoc. Okay.
Yeah.
Steichleather says Petty Town for NXT. It's Charlotte for AEW. It's Charlotte for AEW. Oh, NXT it's Charlotte. AEW it's Moxley. Just him as AEW champ makes him boring than he was without a title. Adam says it all the time.
Mox is so good as a chaser.
Yeah.
And he's got such a good character, but as a champ,
yeah. And Kind of Vice says good night, so we're all thankful for that. Oh, by the way, it was his birthday tonight.
Happy birthday, Vice.
He's gone.
Happy birthday, bud.
He's gone. Evan Wright.
Happy birthday, no one.
Evan Wright says also backup Petty Town for NXT. Phantasma losing to Swerve after Swerve's lost to Tozawa. Tozawa looked like a jobber on Raw Weekly. Not good. He's getting paid though. Iron Med's Petty Town NXT promos look too clean. It's corporate, baby. Like they send the camera to the man to look, hey, whatever. And yeah, that's it. So we're good.
Brian, real quick before we get the final thoughts, I was thinking of this while Rob was reading. Yeah. Where's Pac and Death Triangle? They made their debut, and then all the tapings happened. But they're not even the guys that are like on the side. They're using the same. I mean, they said Private Party will be back in action next week, but there's some guys we just haven't seen, like Death Triangle. We haven't seen nothing. private party? Like, is this COVID related? Or did they get, stuck? The Death Triangle gets stuck back home.
No, yeah, I would say that this is definitely COVID related, travel related issues. But if you watch, if you keep up with BTE, Private Party, they've been on for the past few weeks. They're still keeping a lot of these people that haven't been on Dynamite still kind of relevant with BTE, and they're doing a similar thing where they're shooting everything from their phone or however
What are they
they're
doing with Dark about that?
To be honest, I haven't recently watched Dark, so I couldn't tell you. I'd be talking out of my ass if I said I did.
I thought you have a show completely devoted to
but
all,
it's not
elite wrestling.
Yeah, but
and
not
I could go to you as my expert on my panel. Why are you even on my panel, Brian?
Not to Dark. Not to Dark. It's to all.
You're supposed
wrestling.
to be the expert.
You're the fucking. You're hosting the show.
YouTube
you're hosting the show.
Hey,
Dark.
Hey, guys.
What's the name of it, though?
What do you want, Rob?
What's the name of it? You didn't say the name.
I want to tell everybody to make sure to go to
the All Elite Hour. That was my way of plugging your show, Brian.
I want to make sure to let everybody know to go to Below the Collar, belowthecollar.com, and find any of our new shirts on that new site. We'd certainly appreciate any patronage you could do there. Also, markedoutgear.com, marked out, all one word, 10% off your order. Collar and Elbow brand, collarandelbowbrand.com, 10% off your order there with the promo code marked out as well. Also, if you're watching
support us.
Yes, also if you're watching us on YouTube or Mixer or Twitch or Periscope or Facebook, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. If you're following us on any of the podcasts, make sure you follow, subscribe, rate, review. If you're on iTunes, we certainly appreciate that. Don't forget, we're here every Monday and every Wednesday night, and you can follow us individually or on Twitter at Smart Mark Show, or individually on your screen if you're watching live at Marked Out A-Bomb, at Rob USMC 0311, and at Marked Out BT. So go ahead.
Remember to spell bomb right. It's BAUM because
yes, A-Bomb.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna explode.
Those aren't the easiest handles, guys.
Yeah.
Well, Marked Out BT is easy because we told you what that.
I used to be Marked Out Rob or Marked Out Rhodey, but then I had to change it because Kiara was going to do a WWE run, and I didn't want to have too much baggage on her.
Oh, I remember that when we had to wipe everything, right? That was when you were like, that was like from Goodfellas when you were like,
I feel like
flush the drugs, Karen.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the greatest work. Kiara is she's the Kaiser Soze of Marked Out.
Yeah.
Like the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. She just wanted to erase herself from the Marked Out universe. That's all it was.
Then she could have got the tryout too. I mean, that's the funny thing is she could have gotten the tryout. But
like Thanos. I know who Thanos is.
That's Vince.
Ryan, who is Senator Palpatine?
Senator Palpatine is the one who was the real father for who was it? Not Princess Leia. Who was the Jar Jar Binks? It was the real father for Jar Jar Binks. But when Jar Jar Binks got to the Death Star and he realized that it was on autopilot, he had to go back to his ship, go back to his hometown in Bel Air, and change things. And he had to hack into the mainframe. It's just a weird Star Wars story. So
okay,
what were you saying?
All right, final thoughts. Anybody on the board got anything to chime in? Now's your chance.
I got kind of a off wrestling topic that I thought was kind of funny. I'd like to share. Just in case nobody else, in case you're not watching the news, which I think everybody is a little bit, but if you're not watching news, there was a funny news story that came out of Kentucky. So the governor of Kentucky got up on to do a news conference, and he was talking about everybody applying for their benefits and the PPE and the extended unemployment and all that stuff. And he went on a rant about how one person in his state filed for benefits under the name Tupac Shakur. And because of that, every person in the state was going to have an extra review. So he was shitting on this person like, thanks to this one person, now everyone has to wait on their benefits because we have to check out everyone because of this. And then the next day he gets up and he's in. I'm not dogging the guy. I would have made the mistake too. But he was like, so come to find out, there was a guy in Kentucky named Tupac Shakur that applied for benefits. So I just thought that was some random shit that if there's anything positive to come from COVID, We know that Tupac is alive and he lives in Kentucky.
So real quick, a final thought from the board. Both shows were good. Stike says he's really looking forward next week to Cross and Scarlett's debut. Brian, you will have to make sure you check that out. And Iron Meds adds, Brian, when Thanos snapped his hand, he made all the fans disappear.
True.
Just like that, the crowd was gone.
Vince
they were the half. The wrestlers got the steak as essential.
Vince stole the gauntlet for about 20 minutes and fucking fired.
Yeah.
I'm essential. God damn it. So tune in next time. We're going to be back here for Monday. We'll be covering Raw. Some we might mention SmackDown. We'll see what's relevant there. It's going to be a go-home show next Monday for Money in the Bank. Maybe we'll find out who Apollo Crews' replacement are. But until then, wash your fucking hands and tune in next time. Same smart time, same smart channel.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Marked Out Podcast is produced and edited by U-Record Studios and is recorded live from Charlotte, North Carolina. Subscribe, follow, and listen to us live following WWE programming on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Download the podcast by following us at podbean.com or subscribe on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. While you're there, go ahead and give us an honest and fair review and rating. Finally, if you have enjoyed our product and would like to see us grow, please donate to us by visiting the donation link below our live video, or you can donate via Venmo and Cash App at the handle Ravepro. That's Revepro.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.